Welcome to the World Builders Anvil, episode 199. Today's topic, Markie Markus and the Jewels of Daivvavaahra, part 2.
Bum.
Don't know where to start building your fantasy world? Do you need more? Does it make sense? Forget any worries and become a crafter of imagination. This is the place that will help prime your mind. Now, it's time to heat up the forge, break out the mithril ingots and hammer. Welcome to the World Builders Anvil. I'm your host, Jeffrey W. Ingram. Let's sup from the mug of Java and build. Welcome back. As always, it's the humorous Jeffrey W. Ingram.
And recovering from a head cold, I am Michael Miller.
Ooh, I was actually sick like the end of last week into early last week too. So
I know I'm usually sick of you. So, that happens.
And you let me get away with Markie Markus.
No, I was not going to let you get away with it. I was going to let it go for the intro, but I was going to point out quite distinctly that his name is not Markie Markus. It is Marcus, not Markie Markus. He does his hip hop, his burgeoning hip hop career hasn't taken off yet. He's still young. Once he learns his dance moves and he's lifting enough weights to bounce out all those bulging muscles, then maybe we can start calling him Markie Markus, but he hasn't.
The culture needs to develop a more sophisticated style of music to get there.
Yeah, right now he's still like cultivating the funky bunch. It's just two of them right now. Mm-hmm. We get a couple more guys in, and maybe he can at least be called.
We're leveling out your group right now, though, huh?
Marcus and the Funky Bunch, maybe. A little bit of house cleaning before we get going. Shout outs. I realize, guys, who have those of you who have been joining the closed Facebook Undercroft, or closed Facebook group, the Fantasy World Builders Undercroft. I haven't shouted out people in a little while, and I have had a rocky return from Germany, so I'm still catching up. I haven't been upholding my normal community curator role that I take upon
as a star.
Yeah, I try to take care of all you guys, and it's been a little light for me lately, so I apologize. But my presence will be known there more as we get into October, although I'm also going to be pulling my hair out with NaNoWriMo. So, but that's a very long-winded intro to the shout-outs. So for those of you who've joined the Facebook Undercroft group, I'd like to say hello and welcome to Dexter, Eric, Ian, Mars.
Eric, I like that name.
I know you do. And Mars, who has been a big contributor as of late. Welcome, Mars, and and Josh, Matthew, Ricardo, Ali, and Michael. So welcome to the Undercroft group, guys.
And I believe is that the Michael I can call Mike? I forget.
You'd have to ask him. I'm not real sure if he goes by
I did
Mike,
ask one Michael when they joined if I could call him Mike. So if you're the Michael, I appreciate it.
I would also like to throw a very special shout out to Jamie Walton. Frequent podcast listeners, anybody that's a fan of like Kevin Smith, if you guys listen to Tell Him Steve Dave or Plus One or Smodcast, any of the shows that Kevin does or Kevin has inspired, you may have heard the name Jamie Walton before. Jamie Walton is the founder of the Wayne Foundation. Yes, when the Wayne Foundation, like the charity foundation within the Batman universe, also called the Wayne Foundation. They got their inspiration for the charity name from Batman. So the Wayne Foundation is Jamie Walton's passion project, and she the foundation is all about helping mostly women and children who have been victims of sexual trafficking or being pulled into the sex trades. So her work is really important, and it's really incredible stuff. Very generous, very thoughtful person. I owe Jamie a bit of thanks. She actually helped me with a small legal matter just before I left for Germany, and I told her I would make sure to give a big shout out on the show. So it's a little overdue because she actually helped me more than a month ago, and this episode is actually gonna drop even later than the recording of this. So, but if you guys have a few extra bucks that you can send at a really worthy charity, you can go to go online and look up the Wayne Foundation. Any little donation you can send helps people out who really, really need it. So
there will be a link to the show notes in here.
So thank you, Jamie. And thank you to Jeff for letting me shout that out.
Hey, no, anyone who can help you finally get through some of your legal problems, I appreciate, because it helps keep you on focus for these podcast episodes.
All right, so now... To adventure!
Okay. Now, as a sort of a quick catch-up, what happened last time was Michael used a clever technique, a clever strategy to unseat Hatto at a Sticks and Stones game to score some money at a tournament. And then him and Gregor, after no incident, go off to this church to look at a new or an old castle in town. Because they've heard of someone trying to a new merchant coming in to who's setting up shop, and they want to scope it out. They want to start casing the joint from a distance. And
let's back up a little bit further for those who may have missed the prior episode. This is basically part 2 of a podcasted tabletop adventure that we kind of modify the delivery because it's not going to be quite as slow as a normal tabletop adventure might go. And this is really just to showcase Jeff's world, and so that we can adventure into Jeff's world and see a little bit more of it, experience a little bit more of it before the book comes out. So if you missed the first episode, you can go back and find, Markie Markus's Funky Bunch Part 1. Or whatever Jeff decided to name the episode, because I don't remember. I think it might have been Jewels of the Please.
I think it's Marcus and the Jewels of Daivvavaahra.
Daivvavaahra, the Marcus and the Jewels of Daivvavaahra, Part 1. I don't remember the episode number though.
It's probably pronounced completely different in that episode.
Possibly, but it's Bedracum. It's fluid. Sometimes
it's
things
a fluid
change.
language.
Yeah.
These things evolve over time.
Of course. So this is Part 2, and the recap that Jeff had just gone through is some of the things that occurred in the first episode.
Yep. And so start off in the tournament, which Hatto is unseated using the rad maneuver by the sneaky Marcus. And then Marcus and Gregory go to church so that they can case out a place to rob, because that's what you do at church if you're Michael's character. And
Marcus is also a little bit of a player. Chicks dig him. Mm-hmm. And his cohort, Gregor, is also a little bit of a player too, because he actually slept with the girlfriend of a guy who we need to pull off a caper. So there's some interesting, factors at play behind the scenes of what we're trying to set up.
But conveniently, there's been a new ethnicity moving into town recently, the Shiftarians, and two of their people in a sort of rival crime group in town, Demicus and Metis, were seen trying to break into the facility as they were casing it.
Seen by Marcus and Gregor. So we got to watch them
and so initially
to rob
they were
the very place we want to rob.
Yeah, so they were like, well, if they do it, we'll hit them and we'll take the stuff, or they'll fail and we'll figure out what's going on.
That by the way, is one of my favorite things that thieves will do. They'll let other thieves, more talented thieves, pull off the caper, and then they'll just rob them.
And that's one of these things is these guys are sort of in the same level, but it was sort of recognized by Gregor and Marcus that these guys are probably just a little bit better at what they do than each of them. And so...
For a fun movie example of this, go watch the movie Out of Sight with George Clooney and Jennifer Lopez. There's some fun stuff in there.
Okay. And so essentially they see it happen. They see it go down. And there's this merchant Xanatos who lives there. And this guy has magically protected these items in a tall tower of this old castle. And through the miracle of magical windows, basically... Michael and Gregor got to see a spirit literally leap out and rip the souls from Demicus and Metis. And so it was this sort of shocking kind of conclusion at the end. Xanatos sort of appeared up there immediately. And there's a thought he probably used magic to get there as well.
Yeah, two scary magical things. Because these guys are small time. Our characters are small time hoods. They're just, they're barely above street urchin pickpockets. They're skilled for their age, but they're not like seasoned thieves, and they're certainly
young
not
and
warriors of any
inexperienced.
kind. So when they saw this occur, it was a frightening experience. But they're not discouraged by it. They still want to attempt this heist.
Yeah, and so they go after their friend Sinan, who works in the compound as a guard, to try and get him his inside guy. But because of Gregor's prior relationship issues
with Sinan's
he appears to not want to help.
Yeah.
Technically.
He was down to help until he realized Gregor was involved. Yeah, once he found out Gregor was involved, he was like, no.
Nope. Even though Gregor seems to think it's all fine, don't worry about it. Markus is probably not quite as sure.
No, Markus is not as sure.
But they figure they're going to need some help. So there's this guy, Bruno, that they need because they think he can put together something to get past the spirit in the altar. And or not in the altar, but in the dais holding the jewels. And the good news is he's really talented. The bad news is he's expensive. They can't afford him. And they could use this guy, Thoramir, but now the problem is someone else has had issue with him before. And that person would be Markus. And so Markus had an incident involving his daughter.
Yeah, there's also a relationship
in which his daughter ended up imprisoned, I believe. And
did she get imprisoned? She definitely got.
She was thrown in prison.
Basically, Markus was able to get her blamed for him trying to steal something.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't know if it came up, but she was actually imprisoned. So the problem is now, two of the key people they need don't like them. So they're looking at this new guy,
the
leader of the Shiftarian gang called the Father. And the Father, no one knows who he is, but he's supposed to run a very sort of tight ship on the gang. It was his guys who were captured the first, so they're hoping that they can use that little problem to entice Father to help them, even though they're not really rivals of the gang, but typically that gang is very ethnically based. So
does that mean that most of the gang is Shiftarian, very few humans?
Shiftarians are humans. Shiftarians are humans.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
They're just from a different country, but they end up in a lot of seaport areas. And so a little world background news is actually their country's at a major war with another empire, and they're losing badly. So it's sort of ticked up with these little Shiftarian groups popping up in other cities. Little Shiftars. And so they need either this guy who hates Michael's character or Father to back them. They're trying Father first because they figure it'll be easier to get enough resources in place to be able to hire Bruno to be able to have a chance to pull this job off.
All right, I think we've spent enough time covering background. Are you ready to rock? We are ready to roll. All right.
Oh, and of course, we should mention one other thing. They already met the lovely who is a specialist at getting people transported.
And also, for those of you that have been paying attention, is a character that Jeff and I created on an episode, and very, very special guest star of this adventure that Jeff decided to pull in, which I think is so cool.
Yes, and it very much fits her character that we built, too. So I'm very excited about that. And so now we pick up with two men sort of, I'm sure without any reservation, walking down the stoneworks of the dock, which is essentially, it's the hardened area. There's buildings up here. It's a couple wagon lengths wide. There's some wooden docks that go out into the actual harbor itself. And as you go down, there's some warehouses and some buildings where there are some guards as well, too.
It's a wharf.
It's a wharf. And you get down to the end, and there's this little sort of strangely painted red and white sort of horizontally striped building with these strange clay tiles on the roof with a big hole in the side of the wall to the inside where they serve tea. It's a tea house at the docks, and out front there's a couple tables. One guy sits there. He's a Shiftarian gentleman. Most people assume he's the Father. but he's never claimed to be. But he sits there and drinks tea all day, and people come talk to him.
More importantly, he never claims to be, but does he ever deny it?
He never denies it either. No, he does not.
Okay, that's an important detail. So do we have an arranged meeting, or are we just going to try to be like, yo, hey, hi?
Gregor, going back to a little bit near the end, while you were screwing with basically just at the mouth of the harbor, he was actually out talking to them, came back to get you to go meet Father.
Okay.
So they're definitely...
we have an arranged meeting.
Yeah. So as you two come, sit down, he sort of motions to the chairs and motions to the window, and a young lady goes up to the old lady at the window, grabs a couple teas and brings them down and sits them down, which is kind of interesting. You've never actually had tea before. It's not a local drink.
Really?
Nope, not a local drink at all.
I'm just surprised he's never had tea before.
No, it's just not. It's not around typically. It's relatively new to the town.
Some Earth-based cultures have quite rituals when it comes to drinking tea. Mm-hmm. Is that apparent? Because if he wants to make a good impression, so he doesn't want to. If they're bringing us tea, he wants to at least not look like a total fool and upset anybody.
From what you could tell, and from even walking down, the guy just kind of sits there and drinks tea, and once in a while he goes around the back and probably goes to the bathroom. You've not really seen anything that you would consider ritual about it. But you sit down and you drink it. It's interesting. You don't seem to be getting drunk off of it, which you find fascinating. Most of the things you drink have alcohol in them, which is actually, that's not even making fun of your character. That's just sort of reality of the time and place that you live in.
Am I getting the clue that, like, should I be addressing the guy, or is this kind of like he speaks first sort of thing?
Yeah, no, it's probably one of those scenarios where he speaks first. And
okay,
as you all sip tea a couple times, he kind of looks up. He's like, "So are you boys? You guys are here. You want to talk about the incident last night?"
I'm a lot more interested in talking about potential incidents in the future.
Well, we understand that, but Father would like to know as well what happened last night. So,
I can tell you what we saw.
No. This is not where this is going to happen. Father wants to hear it from you.
Fair enough.
What we're going to do is we're going to go into the building right here behind us, and we're going to go meet Father.
All right.
You just have to understand, you may not tell anyone who you see behind this curtain. It would be not advantageous to you. It would be a mistake on your part to mention who this person is to anyone.
I don't know who you're talking about.
All right. So he kind of gets up and he walks back. There's a door. He knocks on it. It opens up. There's a big brutish guy standing there who lets you both in. You kind of go downstairs into a very dank stone hallway. Down to the inn, through a pair of curtains, you see a large pillow on the floor, a ladder going up into what must be the tea house above it, and a very old lady sitting on this giant pillow looking at you guys.
I knew it. I knew it was going to be one.
And she grabs...
Look at Gregor with semi-confusion because my character would not have seen this coming. I kind of did.
No.
And then look at her and go, Father?
So you're not dumb. And you see her, she's packing a pipe. She kind of lights it, puts it in the corner of her mouth, takes a few puffs, and then exhales out of the other side of her mouth.
I guess that question can generally depend on how much I've had to drink that day. Generally, like, no, I'm not dumb.
She's like, you have to excuse the girls working in the corner. She kind of points over to the corner kind of behind you. You look around, and there's a girl scrubbing blood off of the floor.
I'm sure it's all with good reason.
Oh, they just had to kill some chickens to serve upstairs.
Does it look like the kind of? Does it look like chickens don't have a lot of blood in them?
No,
they are a small animal.
you would question if the amount of maybe they need a lot of chickens because they were getting a run on chicken. You can't be sure. So
Okay.
Gregor kind of looks at you and says, "Okay." He's like, so, Father, and she kind of holds up her pipe and goes, "First, let me see if I understand. Our boys, you saw them going into this facility in one of my Teamster groups.
True.
You see them go into this tower, and you see them from where?"
We were actually in the church steeple at the time. The new church.
How could you see that far?
There's actually a looking glass up there.
Oh, it's good to know.
It is useful. We kind of lucked out. We were actually just taking a look at the castle ourselves for similar reasons, and we just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, Gregor sort of nodded his head in affirmations, like, "Yeah, most definitely." He's like, "We had no idea. It's just the way that the glass is shaped up there. You can actually see pretty far away, which is kind of cool for the scenario, but kind of creepy as well if you think about it."
Makes me wonder what the church is up to.
Yes, why do they need to see that far away? But hey, whatever. Who am I to judge someone? She takes a few more puffs off her pipe, sort of nodding in affirmation. I should probably mention that instead of just do it.
Yeah, I don't think any of the listeners can see you.
And the listeners can probably see that, yeah. And she's like, "All right. So you guys want to hit this place too. So what are you going to do?" And you, Marcus, I like your name. I want you to tell me, what are you guys planning to do, and how do you think I can help you?
I need a refresher reminder from you, Jeff. Our exact plan, wasn't it similar to theirs? Like we're gonna go in with a Teamster. We're gonna go up to the tower. We need someone to help us break the magic. Like that's our plan is basically the same as theirs.
Well, the difference is you know about the magic.
Just we don't plan to fail.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you saw the traps that caught them.
Yeah.
So the magic. So you know that you need Bruno. You need the money to hire Bruno. You're going to need some way to get into the castle because of all the archers. So the Teamsters are still the best approach.
So Bruno is our contact. Father doesn't know Bruno.
Not that you know of.
Okay.
You guys know Bruno.
I want to keep that under my hat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's kind of like this. Your men's approach, there was nothing wrong with it, and our plan is actually quite similar. We just plan on doing it better, and we actually have some advantages that your friend may not have. One, we got to see them do it and fail. So we plan on taking care of what magic traps, I guess, we have upstairs. We have somebody lined up to handle that for us. We think the Teamster approach is excellent, and we have a man on the inside.
So who do you have that's so good with magic that get you past these traps that killed my boys?
Well, that's kind of something I want to keep to myself until it becomes necessary for me to share it. Because I have to pay for him out of my expenses. I don't expect anyone else
If you don't want to trust me, it'll just make it harder to work together, but I understand.
It's not about trust.
She takes a few more puffs off of her pipe and blows it out.
Simply business, and I think you understand being someone who appreciates your own anonymity.
Understood. Yep. Now I have 3 guys. I have you get introduced upstairs. Nero, Gaius, and Commodus.
Do I know any of these men already?
You've never heard of them.
Okay.
But the Shiftarians all look the same to you. So.
Do they really? He has a difficult time?
Not really, no.
Okay.
No.
I'm going to write them down real quick. Nero, Gaius,
and Commodus.
Commodus. Okay.
But these jewels are nice. And there'll be a good cut here, I'm assuming, from these jewels. But I don't know you.
Fair enough.
I've not heard of you.
That's good for me.
Yeah, well, that's good for you, but that also means that you don't have really like names yet, right? Because I pretty much know people who are experienced at doing this kind of stuff. So I'm going to need a favor, and I'm going to need a favor up front on top of my cut.
What's the favor?
There's this guy who I don't like. His name's Thormir.
And I know Thormir. The Thormir's
Yes,
Thormir's the dude, the girl's
yes,
father.
Your buddy.
Yeah, my buddy.
He bothers me.
I'm not laughing.
Yeah, I know. He bothers me.
I know Thormir.
Oh, you do? That should maybe make this easier.
I bother him.
You know that he has this beautiful axe that he likes to carry around with him whenever he walks around town. And
I'm aware of it.
Likes to play up like a big guy. I want you to take that axe, and I want you to plant it on someone in the scene.
She wants me to plant it during the heist?
Yes, and the term plant, you're getting from her tone has less to do with dropping it.
She doesn't want me to plant it like I'm planting a weapon. She wants me to kill somebody with it.
Plant it on the scene into someone is kind of the...
I got it.
The tenor you're getting from it.
Okay. Now, have either one of us ever killed anybody?
You have not. You don't think Gregor has.
And our intention is to go in there. And
he just kind of taps you on the hand like, let it go. Because you think Gregor probably does not want to kill someone either, but he sort of taps you on the hand like, just don't stop it. Because it's like he knows you.
Well, okay. I was going to say, because I'm playing this close to the chest. I'm not doing anything yet. This is just me. No, this is Michael thinking.
You're probably not even visually making a face. You probably have a pretty good poker face from your sticks and stones practice. But, the hand tap is more like you and Gregor kind of know each other. And both of you would be very uncomfortable with that. But that was sort of like his signal, like, just don't let it go. And then
what I'm thinking right now is, in a perfect world, this whole thing goes off without anybody dying. But if somebody should die, we just turn around and slam that axe into them.
That part becomes easy, correct? Yes.
Yeah. If we get lucky and that somebody dies, I was hoping to pull this off without a hitch, but it's already getting messy.
And then it's my money. I have to pay out this friend of yours, whoever he might be, for something that might or might not work. So I'm having money up, a lot of money
Jeff,
risk here.
Let me take a step back. Is that is our big thing here? Like, we're asking him, father, to front for Bruno?
Bruno's expensive.
Okay, all right. That changes something that I said earlier in the conversation. I said that I was going to take it out of our, like that I was paying for Bruno, which is why I didn't want to tell her who he was. But we're actually asking her for money, so she pays for Bruno. Are we going to pay that back? Is that kind of the deal? Like she's just getting
you don't have
she's just getting a bigger cut. That's what we're negotiating.
Well, yeah, you're negotiating at this point.
Okay, all right. Okay, so just take that little piece that I said earlier out of the conversation because it was completely inappropriate because I forgot that we were actually here to get money to pay for Bruno. So.
And she kind of looks down. She stares sort of at the smoke slowly filtering out of the top of her pipe and just kind of stares at it and goes, but you know what? I kind of like you guys. So here's the deal. 75% to me, and you guys and whoever you have split the rest. And my side, I cover my guys.
How much? How many guys were Gregor and I planning on bringing with us into this? Obviously, we're going to have to pay our man on the inside, but who else did we have involved?
Your man on the inside, and Bruno will also get a cut.
Well, of course, Bruno's going to get a cut.
He gets money up front and a cut.
She's fronting that, which is what
she'll front that, which means she wants a bigger cut at the back end.
Which is, of course, that's understandable. But
she's saying that she has her guys covered, the Teamsters.
Well, yeah, but isn't Am the one that's going to go in?
Am is your ticket out of the city.
Oh, she's not going to be the Teamster.
She can't get in because she's not carrying. She's not a Teamster in town. She can't get in.
Okay.
Well, she maybe could, but
okay. I definitely think we can do business, but I think we need to shift the numbers just a little bit, and let me explain why. We're putting a lot of risk on the front end. I realize your monetary risk is out there, but if something should go wrong, no one knows you're involved, which is great, and I'm fine with that, but I'm not 75% fine with that. I'd be 60% fine with that.
She kind of looks down. Well, you boys are eye candy.
You can
eye candy's worth 15%.
I was going to say you could reassess that once we get the job done.
Well, the good news is we make the deal up front, so if you guys get messed up and are ugly afterwards, you've already gotten the 50% from me. I'm key to my word.
Well, my point is not that we'd be messed up afterward, but that we're more than just eye candy.
So, but you're going to need this fenced afterwards, right? And I can help you with that too. So we'll say 65%. Now, the thing in your mind is part of the reason you brought
a fence.
Well, not here, but part of the reason you needed Am in the equation is she has fences in other towns. You wanted to get out of town quickly into her fence.
Yeah, so we don't.
So you don't need the fencing.
Yeah, actually, we're all set with that with the fence. So I think 60 is just fine.
Okay. Is your fence in town?
Well, again, that's on me.
Well,
unless you need a good fence, in which case I know a couple of guys in town.
No, I have my people here. My point being, if you flee town and go fence this, how are you going to get me my 25%?
Well, you'll get your 25%. Well, I was under the assumption that she would get part of the jewels, and that's how it would be. Or is she saying she wants 25% of what our fenced stuff is?
Well, she wants to make sure she gets her 25%. You need to make sure she's getting her 25%. So you'd probably want to give her 25% of the gems, not the money, because you don't have to come back.
Well, yeah, but she's getting 60%. So where's the 25% number coming from?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going with the original numbers. That's Jeffrey discussing this incorrectly.
Okay.
So the 30%.
Well,
so she would want the 60%.
Yes, it's her 60 to our 40, and she'll get that in the hard, whatever's stolen. She gets 60% of that, and we shake hands and part ways.
Okay. So you sort of have that conversation explaining that you're cutting the gems up front, and she sort of nods her head, and she's like, fair with that.
Is it do we know if it is one piece? I know there's a crown, but is there more than a crown, or are we just taking a crown?
It is a crown. There are some other pieces that you have been told are in there with it. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it'll perfectly come out to a 60-40 split from just breaking up jewelry.
Yeah, we're going to have to, yeah.
Thank you, High Story.
I'm expecting that. Oh, are you saying it will, or because I'm actually expecting a moment where we might have to take an axe and chop a bit off a bracelet or something. You know what I mean?
You might have to.
That stuff happens.
You don't know.
Okay.
And you probably won't sell the stuff intact anyway.
No, that would probably be a real bad idea. Hey, they're missing a crown in the neighboring town. We got this great crown we're trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
Pry those rubies out. Melt the gold.
Melt the gold, maybe.
Okay, so do we have an accord?
We have an accord. She hands you a pack of tea.
Okay.
A little bag of tea leaves.
Thank you.
If the person who you're doing business with you does not believe they won't get paid, give them this bag of tea.
Okay.
That is my promissory note to them.
Got it. Part of me wants to go classy, but I'm holding that in.
This is low quality tea. If I had more tea, I'd know that. It's like, well, you always have a good day.
You know what I really should have? I should have said there, and it's up to you if you want me to, if you can allow this to have occurred because he is so streetwise. Could he have said when she says, give them this tea bag? It's my promise. I know.
You probably would have had a roll for that one because they're pretty new in town and you really don't have dealings with them.
Well, let me roll with it because that would make it look like I know her a little bit, which I think is good.
Okay.
So roll it, please. Do you have dice or do you want me to roll something? I have dice. I have dice readily available if you want me to grab them.
I do not.
All right, hang on a second. Now, as mentioned in the prior episode, we are rocking a very simplistic GURPS system, so I am rolling 3 6-sided die, and I come up with 12.
12. Okay. So you guys get 12. And
did I say I know? Was that enough for me to say I know?
Yes.
Okay. Or was it enough for me to say I know convincingly?
Sure.
Okay. Because she could have been like, I doubt it, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
She doesn't seem to show a lot of emotion when she talks. She just sort of sits there and she always seems to stop, look at the smoke rising up a little bit and respond. Besides that, and it's very precise, pretty much exactly the same way every time.
Okay, so Nero, Gaius, and Commodus, are they our Teamster helpers or are they additional helpers?
They are your Teamster friends.
Okay.
So those are the people.
They're just going to get us in, and are they going to split at that point? Or are they going to help us get stuff out of there as well?
They will be gone. Their job is to get you in, and then they get out.
So we have to get ourselves out.
That is the plan.
Okay. That was part of the plan that I did not remember. So does that mean that we have to... so whatever we get out of there, we have to get out on our own effort? Or... I have a cunning plan.
Yes.
To quote Lieutenant Blackadder.
Well, the good news, or any of the Blackadders.
Yeah.
But the good news is getting down off of the castle wall isn't that high. Getting down from the castle, once you get out of the tower part, that's the complicated part.
Right.
But part of Gregor's job is to make sure you have a quick way out. So.
Well, I've got a plan. Okay. So, all right. Let's go upstairs. Let's introduce ourselves to the three dudes upstairs so that we can at least get some familiarity. When do we want to do this? Like we have to talk to. Okay, we gotta just meet.
You need to get Bruno. You need to get.
We need to get Bruno. Exactly. All right. So let's just say hello to them. I don't know if you even want to bother with that.
No need. Just to give you sort of a visionary idea as you walk out. There are three very large guys standing there, and they just kind of look at you and kind of nod their heads. They kind of look a little crazy. Their eyes are a little jittery.
Okay.
And you kind of walk past, and Gregor looks at you and sort of shakes his head like, okay. Well, I guess they have big backs to carry stuff, so I guess that makes sense.
Teamsters,
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get down and you head across town and you get to the Carpenters Guild because he is a carver. And as
Bruno's a carver?
Well, a carver is a style of Badraka magic where you carve stuff into wood.
Oh, gotcha.
So Bruno's cover happens to be he's in the Carpenters Guild, so he's allowed to take jobs where people pay him money to carve stuff out of wood for them. But he can actually apply magic while he does it. That's how the magic is released.
Gotcha. Okay.
Instead of a scroll, you get like a lovely wooden device. You guys walk in and he's sitting down. There's several tables where people can sit, meet, and talk. He's eating some food because that's what everyone does in my world. They eat food all of the time. Whenever you go anywhere, they've just started eating because eating's delicious. A lovely meat dish kind of gets the taste buds drooling a bit. An expensive meal, especially for a lowly teamster. Or I'm sorry, he's a carpenter. But, it's a laborer job. It's not typically one who eats a lot of meat because typically it's lower in the pay scale in this point. So
Really?
Yeah, it's sort of like...
Meat's a little on the expensive side? Oh, I suppose, yeah, this tech level would be a lot of bread and cheese, I would think.
A lot of bread, cheese, and vegetables. And,
vegetables, yeah.
Most cattle deliver dairy. So pork would be much more common than beef. But still not very common to get meat. But there's a little bit in the diet, usually more around festival time. It's a nice little touch, but eat on every day. And a carpenter, to put it into your mindset, is essentially at the same level as like a farmhand, like social status wise. So it's like a farmhand sitting down at a table eating a meat meal would be on a normal day is a very unusual sight. But you kind of get why.
Have we met Bruno before?
You know Bruno. You've met Bruno before. You've never worked with Bruno before because Bruno is very expensive. You know why he can eat meat every day.
Well, my point is, is he the type of person that we know who he is and we've met him, or is it we know who he is and he knows us, or of each other.
You know of each other.
Okay, so there's at least some passing familiarity.
Yeah, there's passing familiarity. You've never worked together before, so you don't have that level of trust built. But he has a reputation for being meticulously honest, which is kind of an odd thing for a thief. But he's very, very structured, and that's just the way he rolls. So you've never heard of him being accused of being a bad thief.
Okay, so let's go approach him then.
The guy's sitting there. He's eating this stew-like, yummy meat dish.
I mean, is this like a restaurant? I mean...
No. This is a guild house. So essentially...
Are we allowed in here?
Of course you are, because you could become to hire... This is where you would come to hire...
This is where we come
people
to... Okay.
Who are carpenters who you need for jobs.
I know, because sometimes when I hear guild house, I think clubhouse. Like, so you can't go in there unless you belong.
Think about, guilds of that time sort of grow into kind of what you think of as unions today. So they all sort of agree to have a certain price structure. Certain guys are at different levels. He's a master level carpenter. He also happens to be able to use magic, which makes him very expensive, whether or not the job is legitimate.
Right. Okay. Bruno, hello. I do apologize. I don't want to interrupt your meal, but do you have some time to talk?
Yeah. Have a seat, guys. You are Gregor, and you are Markus.
Correct.
Actually, he points to the opposite person.
Very
he
close.
Has the names right, but
he's actually Gregor. I'm Markus.
Sorry. We've never met before, but I've heard some good things about you guys.
I hope it's all true. We actually have come into need of your services.
That's always exciting.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. And can we talk discreetly, or are there people like really close to us?
No, it's like almost magical how there's no one who sits close to Bruno. He has almost like his own little section of the guild house.
Okay, so almost I can feel comfortable just speaking.
He probably almost owns it. He's not the guild master, but he might as well be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We're not actually looking to build tables or houses.
Shocking! I've heard you guys are very big into construction. I must have got that part wrong.
You might be aware of what's being stored across town these days.
The new thing, or I mean, there's lots of things being stored across town, so I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Something the prince is interested in.
Oh, the new thing. The
new thing.
The jewels.
Yeah. We would like your help in being the first bidder, so to speak.
Now, Bruno leans across the table and he kind of looks at you. He looks at Gregor. Gregor smiles. I've heard you guys are smart. I've heard you guys are possibly even talented. I've heard of 2 talented guys dying there or something.
Yeah, they died.
Just last night.
Yeah. We were there.
And you want to go in again?
Well, we didn't go in. We watched them fail. And now we're going to do what they didn't do with your help.
And that's why you need me.
Mm-hmm. Was never gifted with carving myself.
So it's a magical thing or something that magic will help with. Can you tell me what it is?
Well, near as I can tell, when they got to the upper chamber, something, an entity, came out of... Did it come out of a book or... I seem to remember it coming out of something. Was it a case? It came out of a case.
It was the case that stored the jewels.
Okay.
When they touched it, it came out.
Yeah. The jewels are stored in a case, and when they approached the case and touched it, an entity came out of it and killed them. Beyond that, because that's not the only thing, what's the gentleman's name who appeared up there?
Xanatos.
Xanatos was on the opposite side of the courtyard in a separate room, separate building, and the downstairs door to the tower was closed. He wouldn't have been able to cross the distance and get up the stairs in time, but he was up there like that.
So it seemed like he knew that something happened.
He knew that something
Did it make a sound, or did the thing just come out and he went up there?
Well, we were far enough away that I don't think we would have heard a sound. Did we hear a sound?
You did not hear a sound.
Okay. We were far enough away that if it made a sound, we wouldn't have been able to hear it. So there may have been a sound, but maybe not. Okay. But I might be able to get that information for you because I know a guy.
Or it could be the spirit told him.
My point is that if we circumvent the trap, that doesn't necessarily also prevent him from being a problem. So I'm looking to have a solution to both problems.
Well, you're going to need a distraction from him. I can't prevent him from being alarmed unless it's the thing inside of the case doing it. I can help deal with the thing inside of the case, but if I don't know what is alarming him, I can't help you get past an alarm I don't know.
Okay.
And it sounds like this is a place I'm not going. You'll need something.
Is that a question or a statement?
It sounds like a little bit of both.
I literally say that. Like, is he saying I'm not going, or is he saying it in a fashion where he wants to know, like, because if you want me to go, you're paying more, you know?
Well, it's more like from the place you're going, I'm not going there kind of question. Okay. It was in question form, but not really.
Okay.
So yes, I guess more of a statement.
Yeah, we didn't. We intend on just a tight team going inside.
You know, of course. I mean, this is a dangerous thing. It's someone with my skill set should not be put at risk like that.
Wouldn't want to risk your hands.
So you need something mobile that you could take with you to get past a spirit, and it might or might not deal with the alarm issue because one of the things is the ghost might have actually told him because they don't need to be in proximity to talk.
Okay.
Now, the bad news is we don't know what the ghost is.
He finds this fascinating because he's actually learning quite a bit here.
Yes, and actually Bruno looks kind of fascinated in this too. He's like, so there's a command structure with spirits that pretty much reflect that of the planet.
Now he's talking over his head, but he's listening intently.
So think about it, like if a knight comes to you and tells you to do something, you do what the knight tells you to, at least while he's there, because if you don't, the knight can't punish you and there's nothing you can do about it. That's just the way of the world. The supernatural world is the same way.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
We need is a spirit that can command your spirit.
So how do we get a spirit?
We need something of the dead person. For my purposes, a bone works the best. But it can't be any bone. It can't be any spirit. I need a high-functioning bone. I need the bone. We could do a prince, but I don't like that because I don't know who that is.
So you literally need.
He's saying this out loud. Yeah,
I know.
Just
you literally need bones.
Yeah, because I can carve him to a bone like wood, and I need something of the person.
Okay.
Of the spirit and their body was part of them. The only the best, most safest bone we can get.
Can this be? I was going to say, can this be my idea? Is he
sure?
clever?
I'll let you go with it.
Is he clever enough to do it? I don't remember the king's name. Do I?
Herman.
Herman. This might be a little out there, but would the bones of King Herman do?
It's probably the best bone around. If you can get into the crypt, which I don't know why you couldn't. If you can't get into the crypt, you're definitely not getting into the tower. So
good point. Let me ask you this: if we get, I mean, how much do you need? You don't need his whole skeleton, do you?
No. Like just it has to be a good piece, probably at least a couple inches. So I can carve in the needed sigils to empower it so you can use it to command the spirit to not kill you or rip your soul out, or if it communicates with them, you can prevent that as well. But I can't guarantee that's the thing. Probably a distraction might be better there for you guys to get him somewhere further away, because the further away, the less likely he'll be able to receive an alarm.
I've got an idea for that. If we get the bones, how valuable would one of those bones be to you for some other task down the road? Because if we can arrange payment that I just get you a couple extra bones while we're there.
This isn't a very common kind of thing to come up. Bones could be useful. We could make a deal with the bones. It would depend on how many they are. I'll have to do some testing when I get them to verify that they're worth it. A crap, and they're not just some other bones.
I'm not going to give you other bones. If I'm bringing you the bones of a king, I'm bringing you the bones.
Well, you need them for years to survive, so I would assume not. But if you bring me some extra bones, that would maybe cut off the back end.
Okay.
I'm going to need a couple pounds of silver up front, and I don't know if you guys can afford that.
Pull out a tea bag. I think we can afford it. At least our friend can.
You keep the tea bag. That could come in helpful to you later. But that's good enough for me.
Does he say you keep the tea bag, or are you saying that?
No, that's Bruno. You keep the tea bag. That's good enough for me that you have it.
Okay.
Yeah. Bring me some extra bones, though. I'll take a half share because I'm sure the tea bag gets the lion's share of this, but in the leftover, I'll take a half share.
Our cut is getting smaller and smaller. Half. If we get the bones, he gets half.
No. He's saying a half share. So if you divide it up equally, everyone would get one share. So a half share would be half of what one person would get. So if you have five people, you would divide what's left by 5, and then he would only take half of what he should get.
Okay, so if it's just me and Gregor, that let's for sake of argument, it's 20 gold. It's me and Gregor. It
would be 10. 10 would be a share.
It would be 10 apiece. He would get 5. We'd each give him 250.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. I mean, I think I can agree to that. Gregor
nods his head.
Yeah, turn to Gregor to make sure Gregor's cool with it. I don't want to be, I don't want to be making all the deals without his input. So.
Yeah, no, you're doing good. I have no issue with that.
Okay.
You're gonna need this soon, so I'm assuming the sooner you get me the bone, it's gonna take me about a day to prepare it.
Yeah, I think Gregor and I got some hiking to do tonight.
Enjoy the lovely night air. I hear it's nice up on that cliffside at night.
Would either one of us know this, or should I ask him, because obviously he's, a guy who deals with some unsavory people?
To know what?
Well, let me get it out. My thought to take care of Xanados, is that his name? My thought to take care of Xanados is to poison him. Poison him sick or poison him sleep. Not poison him dead. But just some sort of, poison. We can have, what's his name? Our man on the inside, probably get it to him in a tea or, something.
Well, the problem is he's inside the house. Your inside man's inside the tower where the jewels are. So they're two separate. They're not connected.
Well, my first answer to the question, would Gregor and I know a guy, or should I bother Bruno with this to see if Bruno knows a guy?
The bigger thing that would probably concern you on that is how to get it to him. Your inside guy is probably not going to be a good guy to be able to do that. And then you have to go into the house and into the castle. You have no idea what's inside of the house. Probably the better thing is something to distract him away from the castle. Something to gather his attention. And Gregor has assured you that he has it taken care of.
Gregor has an idea? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well then, do we have an accord?
Bring me the man's humor and you win. Yes.
Well, I definitely plan on bringing you his funny bone. Okay, so shake hands, call it a deal, and we will be going to buy some rope. Oh, what are you going to need rope for? Oh, you always need rope. Charlie Bronson's always got rope.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Tell me you know what that's from. Oh, you're fired. Double XP for anybody who shoots me a message on Facebook and tells me what that quote is from. Charlie Bronson's always got rope.
So you two go back and acquire the materials you need, we'll say, including some rope, because you guys have seen the cliff face before. It's high. It's a little dangerous.
Let me ask you a question. Is the town at the level... So, like, if we were walking from town to the crypt, to the tombs, would we be at the bottom or would we be at the top?
You'd be at the bottom. Now, you can swing around and climb up more gentle hills to get on top of them if you wish.
That's my plan.
Or you can approach the bottom. There are more guards at the bottom. There are a few guard posts sort of staggered along the sides of the hill.
My thought is we
take is not patrolled.
My thought is we take a long, slow walk so we save our energy and go from the top, because that's also going to be easier to go top down, just let gravity take us down a rope to where we need to be. And then it's going to be a choice of whether to go all the way down and then just go back to town or go back up.
Yeah. So it'd probably be an easier climb going down. You guys aren't experienced climbers, not like cliff climbing.
Right.
So
that's why rope, Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You guys don't have rope. The good news is originally there used to be like pathways that would crisscross because people would go up to the tomb spots to place more bodies. But it's been so many hundreds of years and storms have come through. You know that time-wise it's not very efficient to go by the path. And there's definitely spots you've seen from this leaving town that are completely washed away that you probably couldn't use the path to go up or down the cliffside anyway. So, but there are definitely a lot of areas where there are still paths on the cliffside. It's not like completely washed away, but there are definitely breaks through it. So you could probably go. It'll probably be a series of climbing and rope trudging down.
Have either one of us ever used any kind of like rope gear before? Because that can be difficult and dangerous if you at least don't have any, experience with it.
You've used ropes to acquire in and out of facilities.
Okay. So just not rock climbing.
And in ways it should be easier, but you don't know enough to know the pitfalls of it. Okay. You don't know how to find the rock that won't slip unless it's obvious.
Yeah.
Or the rock that falls down and alerts the guard at the bottom.
Ooh, I hadn't considered that. Yeah, I got to think about that too. Anything we drop. Unless we drop it strategically onto a guard.
at the base of the cliffs, there's a series of old Syrian tombs that have been sort of appropriated by the princes who now rule the town. they've put a rock facade over it and but they patrol that area, and that's where their kin are buried. And they're essentially, I don't know if we've talked about the show before, but they are the only ones who really buried themselves at this point. So,
well, we did talk about it on the show, but in the future. So,
Oh, okay. Oh, that's true. That's next episode. So we're actually going to have to cut it off here. I don't want it to go much longer. So.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to get to the tombs today.
I did want to get to the tombs today, but we're already at an hour. The last one ran really long, so I want to cut it off at this point. So
okay, so then just an interesting little tidbit, because we're actually going to get back to straight order for the next one. Next episode, we're actually going to talk about the tomb. So we recorded the next episode prior to this one. We recorded them out of order. So the next episode, we're actually talking about the tomb that Marcus and Gregor are getting ready to go to raid. We're going to be Tomb Raiders.
Tomb Raiders.
Let me get down to the bottom of the show notes just to make sure there isn't anything we haven't covered, because I'm sure that there is a world builder task of the day. And if you could tell us what that is, Jeff.
Yes, it is. Come join the Undercroft and share a plot that you've developed for your world. So just a short plot, here's kind of A to Z. This is what you've done. And if you go to Facebook.com/groups/Undercroft, it will take you there. If you search the word Undercroft in Facebook, you'll find one of two groups. One will be the Undercroft, and one will be the Undercroft NaNoWriMo support group, which is going to be the real world task, is to join. Even though this is the first week of November, it's still not too late to get that NaNoWriMo support you're looking for. So go to Facebook.com/groups/something else. But it is the Undercroft NaNoWriMo support group.
And I was actually going to say, get yourselves registered for NaNoWriMo, but then Jeff just pointed out that this episode's going to drop after.
But once again, though, it's not too late.
It's not too late.
It's only one weekend. You can still get done.
And let me just put something out there that is great that we actually just had this conversation online like a day ago. Understand that the goal is a 50,000 word novel, and we want you to reach that goal. We are so gangbusters behind you and committed to help support in any way that we can, that you guys reach that 50,000 word count goal. But do not feel intimidated by the 50,000 words. Do NaNoWriMo anyway. I'll tell you, I'll lay it out for you right now. I mean, you guys, as of listening to the show, we've already started it. It's the 26th of October when we're recording this. So I've got 5 days left. I don't have an outline. I'm so not ready for NaNoWriMo. I'm not ready at all. But I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to do it. And if I don't get my 50,000 words, I don't get my 50,000 words. I'll still get something great out of it. And you guys can too, even if you haven't started yet. Even if you're listening to this episode and you're 5, 10 days, a week behind, it's fine.
Start writing.
Get in there and try to do it. Just go for it. Just go for it. You just have to do it.
We will see you in the group, everyone. And don't forget, go to the Wayne Foundation. There will be a link in the show notes as well, too, if you go to the show notes for episode 199 to the Wayne Foundation. And go donate, because, this idea of people who are essentially, they deal a lot with sex slaves, people who are essentially forced into a life that most of them, I'm sure, would have not chosen for themselves.
Yeah,
but it's a great cause, and a person who's helped us out. So go to the Wayne Foundation and check them out.
One of the really cool things that Jamie actually does right now, that she does a lot of, is there's a lot of people who get put into prostitution, but because they've come from like an abusive background or an abducted lifestyle, they've been abducted and they've been pushed into the sex trades. They don't know another way of life. It's one thing if somebody decides, oh, okay, I'm going to be a prostitute. Well, they end up being a criminal. But if someone has been victimized their entire life and they become a prostitute, they're living a life of being a victim, and they just don't know any better way to get by. Yeah. Well, Jamie teaches law enforcement how to recognize the difference. So if they pick somebody up for solicitation or prostitution or what have you, they are better equipped because of Jamie to help these people that need the help, that don't get served by just being put in prison for doing something that's illegal. they get pushed into the help that they require because they have been victimized their entire life and taken advantage of by horrible people.
Awesome. No, that's great. And it's something we'll probably be mentioning the next couple episodes at least. So, but definitely, if you get a chance right now, go to the Wayne Foundation, give them a tax deduction. This is November 2, so keep a receipt because I believe they're 501c3. I'm not positive, but I believe they are. You can write that off your taxes and save a little bit on your taxes too. So I'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to the World Builder's Anvil. We would love it if you would share the World Builder's Anvil with 2 of your friends, and so would they. If they are unfamiliar with podcasts, then you get to introduce them to the wonderful world of podcasting by showing them Stitcher or iTunes, or, best of all, just send them to our website, www.gardul.com. That's GARDUL.com.
Now strike while the mithril's hot.